Caitlin Gray. The name slices through the sterile air of Cascadia Medical Center like a blade. I freeze mid-step, the echo of it pulling me backward through time, 28 years, to be exact. No one here knows that name. No one should. Yet as the sound hangs in the lobby, I feel the weight of it settle on my chest. My visitor badge reads Arabella Beaumont, but to the man striding toward me, the one with silver hair and a face that used to haunt my nightmares, I am still Caitlin. And suddenly, I'm 17 again, standing in our old apartment doorway, clutching a positive pregnancy test as my father's voice roared behind me. "You have until morning to pack," he had said, his tone as flat as the pavement outside. "Take what you can carry." Behind him stood my mother, tears silently streaming down her cheeks, offering no defense. The following morning, they drove me to the bus station, leaving me with exactly $219, all my savings from my summer job at the mall. "Maybe we should take a gentler approach," the blonde woman, my mother, whispers now, gripping her husband's arm. Yet her eyes are assessing, scanning the lobby for reactions, revealing their rehearsed approach to this moment, an ambush. "Caitlin, it's been too long," my father extends his hand, as if we had merely parted after a lovely family meal instead of him banishing his pregnant teenage daughter to fend for herself. "You look great." I resist the surge of vivid memories from that first night spent on a park bench, too scared to close my eyes, with my handwritten sign pleading for help. The rain that soaked through my only jacket. It had been Agatha Beaumont, a graceful woman in her 60s, who discovered me there, offering not just food but a home. Her spacious craftsman house, equipped with a nursery for her unofficial family project. "Everyone deserves a second chance," she told me over steaming tea on that first morning. Those memories coil within me like serpents. My fingers find Agatha's antique watch on my wrist, its steady ticking grounding me in the present. After 29 years of silence, why now? I realize the answer before I fully articulate the question. 3 weeks ago, the Seattle Times featured my son Everest, the brilliant young cardiothoracic surgery resident who achieved a remarkable feat with a newborn. The article mentioned the Agatha Beaumont Foundation, linking my son to the boutique hotel and bakery empire that made me wealthy after Agatha's death. And now, unexpectedly, they are here. My father moves as if to embrace me, but I step back, lifting my chin and asserting, "My name is Arabella." My mother lets out a laugh, frail and sharp like breaking glass. "Don't be absurd. You will always be our Caitlin." Two nurses at the reception desk exchange glances, one whispering to the other. I realize we have drawn an audience. My father notices this too, his smile expanding for show. "We've awaited this moment for so long," he declares, loud enough for others to hear. "When we read about our grandson's surgical triumph, we knew we needed to reconnect with family." The strategic phrases don't escape me. Our grandson. Our family. They're establishing claim, connection, lineage. The familiar tactics of the Gray family, appearing reasonable while seizing what isn't theirs. My head feels dizzy. The daughter of a hotel mogul and the expelled pregnant teen manifesting in the same body, neither feeling entirely real. Everest waves again from across the lobby, clearly puzzled as to why I am not by his side. He resembles me so closely. Agatha used to say he had my determination in his eyes. "We acknowledge our past mistakes," my mother adds softly. "But surely after all this time, we can move past it." I notice her designer handbag and the diamond earrings glistening under fluorescent lights. Martin wears a luxurious watch, not like the cheap one he had back when he drove me to the bus station with orders never to return. Whatever their motives for this reunion, it is clearly calculated and rehearsed. The past? I finally say, my voice sharper than intended. The past was watching you drive away while I stood at a bus station with nowhere to go. Martin's smile stiffens. We were young parents facing a tough situation. I correct him, you were 41, Mom was 38. A woman wearing scrubs glances up from the reception desk, visibly uneasy about this encounter. My mother observes her discomfort and shifts her tone, lowering her voice and leaning in. Darling, we've changed. We've regretted what happened every day since then. Yet, 29 years of silence seems to imply otherwise. As I twist Agatha's watch once around my wrist, then again, I recall a technique she taught me for stressful situations. I'm the CEO of Blue Finch Bakery, I serve on 3 charitable boards, and I raised a son who saves lives. I'm no longer that frightened teenager. From across the lobby, Everest senses something amiss. He excuses himself from a colleague and strides toward us, protective and purposeful. The son I raised alone, the boy Agatha helped mold into the man he is. Is everything okay here? Everest inquires, positioning himself beside me as a shield between me and the people claiming to be my parents. I see a choice in his eyes: either create a scene in this hospital, where his reputation is at stake, or tactically withdraw to confront this on my terms. Agatha would advocate for the latter. She often said never to engage in a conflict without choosing the place of battle. Martin's expression shifts as he takes in Everest's confident stature. He extends his hand. You must be our grandson. We've waited so long to meet you. Everest declines the handshake and instead puts his arm around me. I'm Dr. Beaumont, he asserts, stressing our shared last name. My mother's name is Arabella Beaumont. I feel a surge of strength from my son's touch, the solid foundation Agatha built for us. There was the legal name change at 18, the adult adoption at 20, and a life constructed far from the wreckage they left behind. We should leave, I tell Everest, my voice steadier than my emotions. We have dinner plans. Caitlin, my father calls as we start to turn away. We're at the Olympic. We'd like to meet properly, as a family. I pause and look back one last time. You forfeited the right to call me anything 29 years ago. The office of Nolan Pierce is infused with the scent of sandalwood and leather, a comforting aroma in the midst of my world spiraling. 3 days have elapsed since my parents appeared in the hospital's lobby, and their voices resound in my thoughts like a broken record. Caitlin. Caitlin Gray. That name feels alien now, a past identity I relinquished long ago. I found these in Agatha's safety deposit box, Nolan states, sliding a manila folder across his desk. Sunlight filtering through the Venetian blinds glimmers on his silver hair. She kept detailed records. The folder contains aging court documents dating back to 1996. My hands shake as I skim the pages, every line unveiling a truth I never fully grasped. Temporary guardianship awarded to Agatha Beaumont. A no-contact mandate against Martin and Jocelyn Gray. This legal framework crafted my salvation while I was still handling a baby in one arm and changing diapers with the other. There's more, Nolan says, pushing another stack toward me. Your legal name changed from 1998. The adult adoption documents from 2000. Agatha ensured it was all airtight. I run my fingers over her familiar signature, the graceful curve of her initials. For years, I believed she was just being generous, a wealthy benefactor with compassion for a pregnant teen. Now I recognize the strength hidden beneath her gentleness. She didn't just save me, she fortified me against a threat she anticipated would return. Why are they seeking contact now, after 29 years? I ask, though I already sense the answer forming. Nolan points to the business section of the Seattle Times spread out on his desk. The headline reads, Gray and Fox Holdings under SEC investigation. Just below is a smaller article detailing Everest's miraculous surgery, noting his connection to the Agatha Beaumont Foundation and the Blue Finch Bakery empire. The timing is not coincidental. Your parents' company is in serious trouble, and your son has just been publicly recognized as the heir to a clean, lucrative business portfolio, Nolan explains. My stomach flips as the reality begins to take shape around me. They waited until Agatha passed before making their move. Nolan nods and slides one final document towards me. This one, brand new, has fresh ink and crisp paper. It outlines a contract between Martin Gray and Tyler Quinn, Everest's biological father. That name has not crossed my ears in years, not since he declared my pregnancy was not his issue in the mall food court where we both worked. The contract outlines an 8% success fee for a family reunion campaign. The room seems to tilt. They're collaborating with Tyler? Yes, your ex-boyfriend filed for bankruptcy last month, Nolan clarifies. Apparently, he believes Everest, the son he never acknowledged, might be his ticket to financial recovery. I shut my eyes, feeling Agatha's watch on my wrist. Throughout the years, she insisted on my finishing legal documents, urged me to keep thorough records, and taught me the importance of backup plans for the bakery. It wasn't merely precaution or business savvy. It was about safeguarding. They aren't after reconciliation, I whisper. What they seek is access to Agatha's legacy. Nolan responds, his tone grave, revealing a financial journal. Gray and Fox Holdings isn't merely being investigated, they're possibly facing criminal accusations. Your father requires more than financial aid, he needs a restored reputation. A touching family narrative, alongside a respected surgeon, could prove invaluable right now. The image of my father's rehearsed grin in the hospital lobby now feels imbued with urgency, not just calculation. My mother's tears, perfectly timed for impact. They are in trouble, and I am their life preserver. Do they assume I will welcome them back simply because they referred to me by my previous name? My voice rises in strength, masking my true feelings. They're in dire straits, not irrational, Nolan clarifies. They've brought on a crisis management team. They're fabricating a tale of family reconciliation that will resonate in the business world. Family stands united in challenging times. We can support one another, he says, the remark dripping with disdain. And Tyler? What's his true motive aside from money? An investigation into bankruptcy fraud. The timing implies he is looking for refuge through new familial ties. Your parents have secured a desperate ally. Yes, the extent of this betrayal surpasses my expectations. It's not just my parents' unexpected return, it's a concerted effort to dismantle everything Agatha built. Their willingness to wield media pressure indicates they will go to any lengths. Nolan shows me a press inquiry regarding a heartwarming family reunion that arrived at the foundation this morning. Rising, I move to the window, watching as the Seattle skyline blurs through unexpected tears. For years, I believed Agatha rescued me out of kindness. It never dawned on me that she was in the midst of a battle. She embodied both qualities, Nolan responds softly. She was kind and strategic. She cared for you, Arabella. She understood precisely whom she was shielding you from. Just then, Everest enters, having swapped out his surgical scrubs for a crisp button-down, with dark circles under his eyes hinting at a long shift. He surveys the documents on the desk, his features hardening as he grasps their implications. Agatha anticipated their return, Nolan observes. Retrieving a heavy binder labeled Gray Contingencies in Agatha's meticulous handwriting. She arranged for this precise scenario. The timing coincides with my feature in the Times, Everest notes, skimming through the articles. They have been tracking my career. The realization strikes me sharply, like a blow. While I took pride in watching my son graduate from medical school, they were plotting his future significance to their image. Your grandmother defended you then, Everest states, placing a hand on my shoulder. We will uphold your legacy now. Nolan opens the binder, unearthing carefully structured sections, legal precedents, financial data, media statements, witness accounts. 29 years worth of documentation, waiting for this juncture. We are not entering this battle unprepared, Nolan assures, his lawyerly confidence apparent. Agatha ensured that we would be ready. I glance between Everest and Nolan, a transformation within me becoming palpable. The frightened teenager who disembarked from the bus with nothing has vanished. In her stead stands the woman Agatha envisioned I could become, the one who can't be marginalized again. Let's implement her strategy, I declare, flipping open the binder. Show me everything. The following day, I examine the manila folder Nolan has laid out on his walnut desk. Within are papers that possess the aged feel of long-stored documents, yet seem like live ammunition in my grip. Each yellowed page signifies another protective measure Agatha meticulously constructed around us, especially around me, while I was focused on motherhood. She recorded everything, Nolan comments, adjusting his silver-rimmed glasses as he pushes another paper toward me. Agatha employed a private investigator whenever the Greys attempted to get in touch. As I gingerly pick up a report from 1998, a year post-Everest's birth, my fingers shake slightly. The investigator's neat handwriting describes Martin and Jocelyn Gray observing us from their car outside Blue Finch's first location. They never approached, they only watched. Like predators stalking potential prey. There are 11 recorded breaches of the no-contact order. Nolan continues, satisfaction seeping into his voice, with a tone akin to a chess master revealing a flawless move. Each violation has been carefully noted, photographed, and notarized. I truly won. I scan the documents, my heart racing against my ribs. She never informed me they attempted to reach us. She aimed to shield you from the very situation unfolding now. Nolan points to a legal document with an embossed seal. This adoption of an adult is foolproof. They cannot assert any legal connection to you, which implies they have no grounds regarding Everest either. This revelation sends a jolt through me. For years, I believed Agatha's insistence on securing legal documentation stemmed from her inherent business savvy. Now I realize it was protection she was meticulously crafting for me, piece by piece. Mom? Everest stands at the entrance. Still dressed in hospital scrubs even though he completed his shift hours ago. His expression is the focused intensity he carries from the operating theater. The hospital administrator forwarded me an email. He displays his phone. Tyler Quinn reached out about a family reconciliation story they are eager to propose to Seattle Life magazine. My stomach sinks. Tyler, a name I haven't uttered in 28 years, Everest's biological father, who vanished before his son was born. They are coordinating, I articulate, as the pieces fit together with alarming clarity. This wasn't a mere coincidence at the hospital. They've been tracking your success. Everest nods, his jaw tightening as he scans the documents scattered on Nolan's desk. I collect the reports, feeling something foreign coalesce within me. Not fear, but something tougher, clearer. In my grip, I hold evidence that my parents' unexpected arrival isn't motivated by reconciliation or remorse. It is meticulously plotted. As meticulous as the night they drove me to the bus station with my life packed in a duffel bag. I want to meet them, I assert, finding a surprising steadiness in my tone. Nolan and Everest exchange looks. Are you sure that's a good idea? Nolan questions. I touch the folder. I am not going in unarmed this time. 2 days later, the cafeteria of Cascadia Medical Center hums with the familiar rhythm of hospital life. Doctors in scrubs grab coffee between rounds. Visitors search for a brief escape from the incessant beeping of machines and sterile hallways, nibbling on salads. It's public enough to avoid confrontation but private enough for the discussion I need to have. I selected my outfit with the same careful strategy Agatha would endorse, a fitted navy suit that embodies the authority of the CEO I've become, not the scared teenager they abandoned. Agatha's watch glitters on my wrist, its weight comforting. They arrive 5 minutes early, another strategic move. Martin's silver-streaked hair is recently trimmed, and his charcoal suit is both expensive and understated. Jocelyn dons a cream dress that softens her appearance, her pearl earrings shimmering under the fluorescent lights. They present themselves as concerned grandparents seeking reconciliation. The facade makes my stomach churn. Caitlin, Martin begins, reaching out his hand. Arabella, I correct him, refusing his handshake. My legal name for the past 28 years. His grin remains, but something shifts in his eyes. Of course, old habits die hard. I do not invite them to take a seat. Instead, I position Agatha's folder on the table separating us. I discovered her files about you, I state, opening the folder to unveil the first surveillance photo from 1998. Every instance you attempted to reach out when it suited you. Martin's expression stiffens. Jocelyn's gaze flits around the cafeteria, clearly uneasy about potential onlookers. Perhaps we should discuss this in a more private setting, she suggests, her voice dripping with feigned concern. I prefer witnesses, I respond, turning another page. Like when you appeared at Blue Finch's grand opening in 2005. Or when you sent a letter to Everest's high school after his science award was featured in the newspaper. Martin's confidence visibly wanes as he shifts his weight. Those were different circumstances. We were trying to. Or what about hiring a private investigator to probe Agatha's finances in 2010? I continue, revealing another document. Each one a breach of the no-contact order you signed. Jocelyn's composure shatters. Those were desperate moments. We've changed. Everyone deserves a second chance. The irony of her invoking Agatha's phrase, the very words that saved my life when they discarded me, ignites something fierce within me. You signed away your rights in exchange for money, I state, pushing forward the court document bearing both their signatures. I possess the records of the payment Tyler Quinn made to you, 8% of his potential inheritance from his family if you both vanished from our lives. Martin's face flushes. That's exactly what occurred, I interrupt, my voice loud enough for nearby tables to hear. You assessed my value and deemed me lacking. Now you've assessed Everest's worth and found him worth claiming. Several doctors at a nearby table glance over, colleagues of Everest who have witnessed his rapid ascent through the surgical program. Their expressions shift from curiosity to concern as they recognize me. We only want what's best for our grandson, Martin says, his voice lowered but his intensity unwavering. For our family. Hearing the word family from him feels like a breach. I straighten my posture, drawing on every board meeting where I asserted myself against men in pricey suits. You are not my family, I assert firmly, you lost that right 29 years ago. Agatha Beaumont became my mother the evening she discovered me asleep on a park bench after you abandoned me. Her name appears on my adoption documents. It's also on my son's birth certificate. Moreover, she ensured that you could never take that away from us. Jocelyn reaches out, her perfectly manicured fingers quivering slightly. Sweetheart, we were mistaken. We have carried that error every single day. Yet you never sought to rectify your misstep until my son became significant to you. I respond, until the Agatha Beaumont Foundation was highlighted in the Times. A tall woman in a tailored outfit approaches our table, Dr. Lancaster, the hospital administrator. Her demeanor is one of polite concern as she glances back and forth between us. Is everything all right, Mrs. Beaumont? She inquires, stressing my chosen name. Before Martin has a chance to say anything, I respond, yes, thank you. These individuals were just departing. A flicker of something crosses Martin's face, a mirrored look from the night he informed me I had until morning to gather my belongings. But this time, I remain steadfast. This isn't the end, he mutters quietly. Actually, it is, I counter. The adult adoption documentation Agatha submitted provides me with complete legal protection against any claims you may attempt. My lawyer is currently preparing a cease and desist order. Dr. Lancaster's presence has attracted the attention of other staff members. Martin and Jocelyn sense the shift in the atmosphere, realizing the witnesses are forming a discreet wall of support around me. We will be in contact, Martin states, trying to preserve his dignity as they prepare to leave. No, I assert flatly, you won't. I observe them as they walk away, their carefully crafted facade disintegrating under the weight of the truth laid bare. My hands are no longer shaking. At last, since hearing them say my old name in the lobby, I feel steady. My phone vibrates with a text from Nolan. Judge Wilson has approved the temporary restraining order. It's being served tomorrow. Yet another text comes in from Everest. Finished rounds early. Want me to come down? Before I can respond, Dr. Lancaster gently places her hand on my shoulder. Everest is one of our best, she remarks. His character reflects well on his upbringing. Whatever those individuals desired, they clearly do not deserve to be part of what you have created. This simple validation almost shatters the composure I fought to maintain throughout the confrontation. I manage a nod of gratitude. More hospital personnel approach, doctors who have collaborated with Everest, nurses who have witnessed his commitment to patients. Each one offers a soft word of encouragement or a knowing nod. The community I hadn't anticipated is rallying around me after my stand. Eventually, when I sit alone at the table, my phone rings. Nolan sounds victorious. The adult adoption records are completely bulletproof, he proclaims without preamble. I've filed preemptive paperwork with family court. They won't get near you legally. Thank you, I respond. But my fingers have brushed against something else in the folder, a handwritten note on Agatha's personal stationery. The sight of her graceful handwriting tightens my throat. What is it? Nolan inquires, sensing my silence. A letter from Agatha, I reply softly, tucked away in the legal documents. I read aloud the words that restore her voice to me with striking clarity. Blood produces relatives, but love creates family. Remember that when they eventually return. You are my daughter in every meaningful way, Arabella. Never doubt your right to the name you have chosen and the life you've built. By the time Everest arrives, I have regained my composure. He settles into the chair across from mine, studying my face for indications of distress. Are you okay? He asks. I close the folder containing 3 decades of protection I never realized I possessed. I am, I reply, somewhat surprised to find it true. Your grandmother ensured that. Everest's smile embodies the same quiet fortitude that Agatha's did. Mom, you stood your ground just like grandmother instructed. As we stroll through the hospital hallways, I feel lighter than I have in days. This was merely one skirmish in what seems to be a protracted conflict, but now I understand that I'm not relying solely on my strength. I am supported by Agatha's strategic wisdom, Everest's steadfast backing, and the legal resources that Nolan has uncovered. If I could achieve this with just days of preparation, I ponder what could be accomplished with proper planning. For the first time since hearing my former name called across the lobby, I allow myself to experience something beyond fear or anger, hope. Nolan's conference room has morphed into our command center. Legal documents are spread across the sleek oak table like tactical charts. Morning sunlight seeps through the Venetian blinds, casting striped shadows over our arsenal. Court documents, financial records, newspaper articles, and pictures. It's been a week since the altercation at the hospital, and I've traded raw feelings for a more calculated demeanor. My finger glides along the edge of a manila folder that holds the no-contact order my parents have repeatedly breached over the span of 29 years. Their ongoing SEC inquiry might serve as our most potent point of leverage. Nolan points to a Business Journal article, tapping its headline, Gray and Fox Holdings faces federal scrutiny. I acknowledge him with a nod, mentally noting this vulnerability among others we've uncovered. What legal obstacles might they realistically present? 3 potential avenues. Nolan pushes a yellow legal pad towards me. They could assert that Agatha exerted undue influence during your adult adoption. They might contest the validity of your name change. Or, most troublingly, they could try to lay claim to Everest based on a biological connection. My stomach knots at this last suggestion. I rotate Agatha's watch around my wrist, once, then again. How should we respond to the media narrative they're crafting? Controlled release of information, Nolan states while adjusting his tie. We have Agatha's records detailing their unsuccessful attempts to reach you whenever your accomplishments were featured in the news. Each instance coincided with their financial struggles. I pick up a yellowed newspaper clipping from 2008. It highlights my first bakery opening in the business section. The week after it was published, Martin left 3 voicemails at Blue Finch. Agatha documented everything meticulously. She never acted without strategic foresight. I feel the familiar strokes of her handwriting in the margins of a legal brief. I need to adopt her mindset. Suddenly, the conference room door swings open, and Everest walks in, still dressed in his hospital scrubs. "They're doing rounds at the hospital," he states directly. Dr. Winters mentioned that Martin inquired pointedly about my surgical fellowship application. I add this to our developing threat assessment. "Any interactions with your colleagues?" They approached Dr. Matheson in the cafeteria, but he shut them down immediately. Everest sets his phone on the table. "I've recorded everyone they've tried to talk to." Nolan nods in approval. "Excellent. Evidence of a persisted pattern." I analyze our gathered information with the same emotionless scrutiny I applied during quarterly business evaluations. This has transcended personal matters. It is now an endeavor to neutralize a hostile takeover. Emotion can cloud judgment. Agatha taught me that lesson. The Blue Finch managers reported that the Greys visited the downtown location yesterday. They asked about our expansion plans and attempted to gain financial insights from the assistant manager. Nolan jots down notes. "We will require statements from your team." The afternoon unfolds with meticulous preparation. We itemize vulnerabilities, recognize allies, and anticipate counteractions. My mind falls into the familiar cadence of strategic planning, akin to the method that scaled Agatha's singular bakery into a regional chain. At 6 o'clock, Nolan's assistant knocks and enters holding a manila envelope. "This just arrived via courier, Mr. Pierce." Nolan opens it, glances at the contents, and his expression shifts. A tightness grips my chest. "What is it?" I ask, already bracing myself for bad news. "They've lodged a petition to overturn your adult adoption." He hands me the document, referencing Stevenson versus Linder, 2012. My fingers quiver slightly as I scrutinize the legal terminology. This case is unfamiliar to me. "Few know of it," Nolan states. "It's an unusual precedent from Montana that questions the mental capacity of the adoptive parent at the time of adoption. They assert that Agatha lacked competency when she adopted you." The words hit like blows to the gut, attacking not just me but also Agatha's intellect and judgment, the finest business mind I have ever encountered. "They've engaged Howard Levinson," Nolan notes, tapping the signature on the document. He specializes in contesting adult adoptions. The ground seems to give way beneath me. They are not merely desperate, they are dangerously skilled. Everest lays a steady hand on my shoulder. "They are challenging the very core of your identity." "No," I correct him, finding my steadiness. "They are challenging Agatha's judgment. Her legacy." I align the documents on the table with meticulous precision. My hands cease trembling. The initial shock fades into a hard, focused resolve. "They assume we are caught off guard," I declare. "They don't realize Agatha has foreseen this exact situation." Nolan nods, retrieving a sealed envelope from his safe. "She left us guidelines for precisely this occurrence." I recall Agatha from 2 years ago on her deathbed, her hand tightly gripping mine. "Remember the chess principle I taught you, Arabella? The best defense is laid long before the attack occurs." I grasp her antique watch, drawing fortitude from its steady beat. They are misjudging how thoroughly Agatha has prepared us for this. As I delve back into the documents, clarity washes over me. This matter transcends the protection of my identity. It revolves around safeguarding Agatha's legacy, the trust she placed in me. The lines are drawn, our plan established, and unlike the frightened 17-year-old abandoned at a bus terminal, I face this battle with support. The conference room at Nolan's law firm has transformed into our strategic command center. Detailed maps lay across the polished mahogany surface, accompanied by financial records, sworn affidavits, and character references. For the past 3 weeks, we've systematically tackled each aspect of our defense, readying ourselves for the Greys' next move. They've filed a motion questioning Agatha's mental competency at the time of your adoption, Nolan informs, sliding a document toward me. His silver hair glimmers in the sunlight. It won't hold up, but it indicates they're targeting the very foundation of our case. I rotate Agatha's watch around once, my fingers gliding over the time-worn silver links, feeling the subtle imperfections that recount her life story. And our response? A countersuit for harassment and emotional distress. Nolan taps on another, thicker folder. I've documented 17 instances of their attempts to contact us over the years, all violations of the no-contact order. Agatha was meticulous in her record-keeping. Everest arrives, still clad in his surgical scrubs and weary from a long shift. He places a leather portfolio on the table. I've gathered statements from all attending physicians I've worked with since starting my residency. 23 doctors affirm both our characters, Mom. I point to the spreadsheets I've spent countless nights organizing. The Blue Finch financial statements are ready. Every quarterly report since Agatha passed control to me, profit margins, expansion timelines, employee retention rates, evidence of effective management. This isn't simply about a fleeting conflict in the hospital cafeteria. We aim for enduring protection. We're gearing up for the ultimate showdown, Nolan states, his voice steady as he examines our materials. This isn't just a minor conflict. My phone vibrates. A text from Marina, my assistant manager at the downtown Blue Finch. My heart sinks as I read, they approached my staff. My voice feels foreign as I relay the information. The Greys visited 3 bakery locations yesterday, offering cash for details about working conditions. Everest's face darkens. Now they're undermining your business. I press my fingertips onto the cool conference table, grounding myself against the tide of violation engulfing me. This conflict extends beyond my identity or past. They now jeopardize the livelihoods of those who rely on me. I manage 42 employees across 5 locations, each with names, faces, families, people with rent, student loans, childcare expenses. If they turn my staff, they won't, Nolan interjects resolutely. Your employees are steadfast, but we must broaden our strategy beyond mere personal defense. Everest strides around, tension radiating from him. They're more thorough than we expected. I learned they've reached out to 4 Beaumont hotel suppliers about business ties from when Agatha was still in charge. The atmosphere feels suffocating. I turn Agatha's watch twice this time. Should I inform the staff about our family ties? The question slips out before I can check myself. Will that pressure them to take sides? Nolan ponders this. That's for you to decide, Arabella. But keep in mind Agatha's wisdom, transparency during crises fosters trust in allies, while secrets breed vulnerabilities. Another lesson from the woman who saved my life. We have organized everything we can, Everest reflects after a moment. The legal paperwork, professional endorsements, business records, it all points to the Agatha Beaumont Foundation Gala next month. I nod, comprehending its importance. 500 guests. Media attention. The ideal setting for our confrontation, where the Greys would be at a considerable disadvantage. We're as prepared as we can be, Nolan confirms, filing papers into folders. The Foundation Gala represents our chance to conclude this matter for good. A sense of tranquility envelopes me at the thought of thorough preparation. Every legal route explored, all witnesses ready, each document meticulously sorted. The terrified girl who once froze at the sound of Caitlin in a hospital lobby has been replaced by someone who thinks several steps ahead, foreseeing threats before they arise. Everest places his hand over mine, his surgeon's warmth steadying. Grandmother's plan is sound. We have what we need. I sense a quiet resilience emerging beneath my fear. The Greys underestimated me, believing they were targeting a defenseless woman caught off guard. Instead, they are about to encounter the daughter Agatha Beaumont nurtured, strategic, ready, and completely unwilling to relinquish what was created out of love, not blood. My fingers graze the clasp of Agatha's watch, savoring its familiar heaviness. We are set for whatever lies ahead. A week later, I find myself gazing at my phone when a notification appears. My thumb hovers over an alert from the local news app. Gray family seeks to mend ties with estranged daughter and grandson. A stillness envelopes me. It's not the panicked freeze from the hospital lobby, but the ominous calm that precedes a tempest. I tap the notification. The video materializes, revealing Martin and Jocelyn on a cream-hued couch in what seems to be a hotel suite, the Olympic, just as they had claimed. My father's silver locks are meticulously styled, his navy suit pristine. My mother's blonde hair elegantly frames her face in soft waves, her pearl necklace glinting as she dabs at non-existent tears. "We simply want to know our grandson," Martin proclaims, his tone infused with the practiced sincerity I recall from my childhood. After witnessing his remarkable surgical success in the news, we realized life is too brief to let past disagreements tear a family apart. Disagreements, I whisper to the empty room. Is that the new term for abandonment? The interviewer, a woman with understanding eyes and an unsettling grin, leans in. "And your daughter? What would you tell her if she's watching?" Jocelyn touches her husband's arm, her diamond bracelet shimmering. "Caitlin, sweetheart, we recognize that you may still bear some resentment toward us regarding the past. We were youthful parents caught in an impossible situation." I laugh sharply, the sound jarring in my quiet living space. "Youthful? You were 41, Dad." "But family is family," Martin continues on screen. "We're not getting any younger. All we desire is to be a part of your lives and to know our grandson. Is that too much to ask?" The camera zooms out to showcase photos they have brought, old images of me as a child, deliberately chosen to fabricate the appearance of a happy family. Among them is a picture of me at 16, taken the year before my pregnancy, before tragedy struck. My phone vibrates with an incoming call from Nolan. "Have you seen it?" he asks, without preamble. "I'm watching it now," I reply, my voice sounding oddly composed, yet tinged with something darker than anger. "It's a calculated move," Nolan asserts. The timing is impeccable, one day before the Foundation Gala. The Agatha Beaumont Foundation Gala, with 500 guests and extensive media coverage, is the year's most significant fundraising event for young mothers in crisis. The very mothers I once was. "They know precisely what they're doing," I respond, as I watch Jocelyn dab her eyes once more. The interviewer offers her a tissue in a manner that seems rehearsed, yet spontaneous. "They are casting themselves as reasonable people seeking to mend fences," Nolan elaborates, "and portraying you as the bitter daughter who keeps a beloved grandson from his grandparents." I complete his thought, the unstable woman who changed her name and abandoned her family. Almost as if provoked by my conclusion, the interviewer poses that very question. "Some might wonder why your daughter opted to change her name. Was there more to this estrangement than mere youthful disagreements?" Martin's expression tightens briefly before settling into a facade of concern. "Caitlin was always sensitive and impulsive. We believe she fell under the sway of her employer, Agatha Beaumont, a wealthy woman who regrettably had no children of her own." The implication lingers, ugly and calculated, as if Agatha had somehow influenced a vulnerable girl and taken her away from her loving parents. My grip on the phone becomes so tight that my knuckles turn pale. They aren't merely targeting me, they are assaulting Agatha's legacy. "Call Everest." I instruct Nolan, my voice icy with controlled rage. "Tell him to avoid watching this at the hospital. I'll meet him at your office in half an hour." I hang up and force myself to continue watching. Every statement they make adds another brick to the edifice of their narrative. Concerned grandparents, heartbroken parents, a family fragmented by misunderstanding. They fail to mention the day I was thrown out with only $219 to my name. They avoid acknowledging the 29 years of silence, framing it instead as my bitterness and inability to forgive. By the time I reach Nolan's office, my phone registers 17 missed calls from reporters. 2 donors have texted, expressing concern about tomorrow's gala. The Foundation's social media accounts are inundated with comments urging me to let the past be the past, from individuals who know nothing of the true story. Everest is already there, pacing Nolan's conference room, his usual surgical precision replaced by raw fury. They referred to me as their miracle grandson. He erupts, each word spat out defiantly, as if they have any claim over us, despite having relinquished any rights long ago. Nolan is positioned at the head of the table, exuding calm amidst our turmoil. We have meticulously prepared for this moment. Everything is set. I take a deep breath, lightly brushing Agatha's watch on my wrist, making one full rotation and then another. This ritual grounds me and brings me back to what truly matters. Activate everything, I command. All of it. Now. Nolan gives a brief nod and then retrieves his phone. Within the hour, our counteroffensive commences, not through angry refutations or emotional displays, but with facts, structured and indisputable facts. A press release from Nolan's firm outlines the legal history, court records, details of the temporary guardianship, and the no-contact order, all presented thoughtfully and without direct attacks on the Greys, merely laying out the established timeline. A composed and professional statement from Everest follows. I am proud to be a doctor. Everest Beaumont, the son of Arabella Beaumont, my chosen family has supported me throughout my education and career. I kindly ask for privacy as I keep on my work, which involves saving lives. On social media, testimonials from long-term employees at Blue Finch Bakery surface, recounting Arabella's leadership and Agatha's enduring legacy. The community we've fostered over the years begins to unite, not with grand proclamations, but with consistent support. By the evening, 3 significant donors who had hesitated confirmed their participation in tomorrow's gala. The media coverage transitions from reconciliation efforts to a detailed revelation of complex legal history. I should feel victorious. Instead, a peculiar emptiness washes over me as I observe our carefully orchestrated plans come to fruition as intended. For nearly 3 decades, I've borne the weight of that night. When I stood in the doorway with the pregnancy test, witnessing my life disintegrate, taking that long, aimless bus ride. For 28 years, I've dedicated myself to building an alternate reality, a business, a foundation, a life for my son. And now, it all hinges on this. A public relations showdown on the eve of the most critical night of the year. My phone rings, displaying an unknown number. Against my instincts, I answer. Arabella Beaumont. The Foundation Gala should be intriguing tomorrow night, my father's voice smooth and unyielding. We've decided to attend. The floor seems to momentarily disappear beneath me. You weren't invited. We're community members committed to supporting young mothers, he replies, and I can detect the smile in his tone. What kind of grandparents would we be if we didn't champion such an important cause? I hang up without saying another word and turn to see Everest and Nolan watching me with concern. They are coming to the gala, I say, my voice sounding distant even to myself. They've decided to crash it. Nolan's demeanor hardens. Then we'll be prepared for them. Everest positions himself beside me, placing his hand on my shoulder. We anticipated this, Imam. Everything is set. I nod, feeling the emptiness within me transform into something more resilient. We need to review everything one more time. No surprises for tomorrow. We work late into the night, going over security protocols, briefing staff, and preparing for all conceivable scenarios. The gala venue sends updated floor plans, and the catering manager confirms instructions to prevent the Greys from being seated at any foundation tables. Our legal team is ready with documents to be served if needed. It's past midnight by the time Everest and I finally return home. We find ourselves in Agatha's kitchen, adorned with its hand-painted tiles and copper pots hanging from the ceiling. This is the heart of the home she created for us when no one else would. Do you recall what grandmother advised about confrontations? Everest asks quietly, breaking the stillness. Despite everything, I smile. Never engage your opponent where they wish to fight. Choose your battlefield instead. Tomorrow, we confront them on our terms. Everest reaches across to grasp my hand. Tomorrow, we will show them what true family is made of. I squeeze his hand, feeling the callous texture of his surgeon's hands, mirroring my own baker's hands. Agatha would be proud of you. Of us, he amends. She anticipated this, Mom. She knew they might return, and she ensured we would be ready. I look around this kitchen where Agatha guided my baking, where I cared for Everest during his childhood ailments, and where we celebrated his acceptance into medical school. This is our home, not through birth but through choice. Get some rest, I tell him. Tomorrow will be the performance of our lives. After he heads upstairs, I remain in the quiet kitchen, touching Agatha's watch. Tomorrow, everything changes. Tomorrow, I confront the ghost of Caitlin Gray and finally lay her to rest. Tomorrow, we bring this to an end. The next evening, I find myself at the back entrance of the Grand Ballroom, observing 500 of Seattle's prominent citizens mingling beneath the sparkling chandeliers. The Agatha Beaumont Foundation Gala has always marked the pinnacle of our annual efforts, but tonight, it holds a far deeper significance. My fingers graze Agatha's watch, its steady tick serving as a metronome for my racing heart. Everest stands next to me, looking sharp in his custom tuxedo, meticulously adjusting his bow tie. They're arriving, Nolan whispers, indicating the lobby's front entrance, clearly aiming to make a striking impression for the cameras. I nod, feeling an unexpected calmness. We've been preparing for 4 weeks, gathering evidence, crafting statements, and coordinating with the foundation board. What started as a surprise at the hospital has turned into a fight I've orchestrated. Mrs. Beaumont, a photographer calls out, "Could we take a picture of you with your son before he speaks?" I smile, warmth filling me as Everest wraps his arm around my shoulders. This is something Martin and Jocelyn would never comprehend, a bond created through sleepless nights, diaper duties, and medical school applications. A connection they exchanged for $219 cash. Excitement fills the ballroom as the event coordinator gives a 5-minute warning. I spot Jocelyn with her striking platinum blonde hair, engaging guests effortlessly, while Martin stands beside her, greeting potential investors with carefully calculated gestures that reveal their hidden intentions. I should go get ready, Everest says, giving my hand a reassuring squeeze. See you on the other side, Mom. I watch him stride confidently toward the stage, shoulders back and head held high. Everything we've worked for is on the verge of facing its toughest challenge. As the lights dim, a spotlight illuminates the podium where the foundation director welcomes the attendees. I scan the crowd, spotting Martin and Jocelyn positioned perfectly at the front for the cameras. Tonight, we celebrate 25 years of the Agatha Beaumont Foundation, the director proclaims. I'm privileged to introduce Dr. Everest Beaumont, whose surgical advancements have saved 17 infants this year. Applause fills the room as Everest steps up, his confidence radiating. Thank you all for believing in my grandmother's vision, he begins. Agatha Beaumont taught me that family isn't merely about lineage or birth certificates. Our eyes connect, and I see the 17-year-old boy who once wondered why he lacked grandparents like others. Family signifies presence, not pedigree. It's about who stands with you when the world turns against you, who uplifts you amidst adversity. I observe Martin tense up while Jocelyn's smile wavers slightly. My mother exemplified this lesson. Abandoned as a pregnant teenager, she reconstructed her life piece by piece, sacrifice by sacrifice. The crowd falls silent. Before we proceed, I want to share something my grandmother prepared prior to her passing, anticipating it might be necessary one day. The large screen behind him flickers on, revealing Agatha from a recording made 3 years before her death. I take a sharp breath at her dignified image, settled in her beloved blue armchair, silver hair styled, eyes vibrant with resolve. If you're watching this, she starts, her voice firm despite her age, it indicates Caitlin's biological parents have resurfaced now that I'm gone. A whisper passes through the audience. To those who gave her a mere 10 minutes to disappear from your lives, Agatha states, leaning in, I grant you 10 minutes to vanish from hers. The young woman you forsook grew into Arabella Beaumont, my daughter in every significant sense. She forged a life you have no claim to. Tears blur my vision as Agatha's demeanor grows serious. I have prepared for this moment. Every document, every legal safeguard, every contingency plan is in place. You will find no vulnerabilities in the fortress I've constructed around my family. The screen changes to showcase legal documents, the no-contact order, the name change request, the adult adoption papers. My life from 1996 to the present is captured in this video, with key sections highlighted as Nolan steps forward. For the record, Nolan states, his voice resonating through the astonished room, these documents establish the legal separation between Arabella Beaumont and her previous identity. The adult adoption was completed in 2000, nullifying all parental rights. I notice Martin's expression darken as he grasps the gravity of the situation. This wasn't the uncomplicated reconciliation story they had intended to project. Furthermore, Nolan adds, pressing a button on his remote, we possess evidence of recent communications that shed light on the genuine reason for this unexpected reappearance. The speakers crackle as an audio recording plays, Tyler Quinn's voice unmistakable despite the years. An 8% success fee is reasonable, he states. I know how to approach them. Once we establish the family connection and garner some media attention, the foundation will be completely accessible. Gasps echo throughout the audience. An influential member of the hospital board glares intently at Martin and Jocelyn, his face hardening. Martin asserts Caitlin's name clearly, maintaining his calm despite the visible perspiration on his forehead. This is unacceptable. We are your family. An oppressive silence falls over the room, with every individual now focused on me. After 29 years of preparation for this moment, Agatha's teachings about standing strong in the face of internal turmoil echo in my mind. I can feel Everest's hand in mine as I step forward slowly, the weight of 500 eyes upon me. Cameras turn to capture every movement. That name ceased to exist the night you abandoned me in the street, I declare, my voice unwavering. I am the daughter of Arabella Agatha and the mother of Everest. The truth vibrates within me, as solid as the ground I stand upon. You forsook me with just $219, and now you wish to claim what you didn't create, what I built. Jocelyn advances, anxiety cracking her composed facade. We were wrong. We made a grave error. Yes, I cut in. You did. And tonight, that error finally catches up with you. I gesture toward the rear of the room, where a court officer approaches with documents in hand. Martin and Jocelyn Gray, she announces firmly, I am serving you with a temporary restraining order preventing contact with Arabella Beaumont, Dr. Everest Beaumont, or any staff of the Agatha Beaumont Foundation or Blue Finch Bakery Enterprises. The cameras flash rapidly as the officer nears them. I notice Martin's shoulders slump slightly, the first genuine expression I've observed from him since their return to my life. His carefully crafted mask falters momentarily before he regains his composure, accepting the papers with a shaky hand. This is a misunderstanding, he starts, but his tone betrays uncertainty. The foundation director steps forward. I think it would be best if you left now, Mr. and Mrs. Gray. Two security guards materialize beside them, not aggressive but firmly present. The entire room watches in hushed awe as Martin adjusts his tie one last time, a lifetime spent maintaining appearances, even amidst defeat. This isn't over, he whispers, his threat sounding feeble even to me. As they are led toward the exit, a shift occurs in the atmosphere. One person starts to clap, then another, until the whole ballroom is engulfed in applause. I stand there, astonished, as the wave of support washes over me. Years of unspoken validation see their voice emerge. Everest reappears at my side, wrapping his arms around my shoulders. She's watching, he murmurs, his eyes glistening with tears. I know grandmother is keeping watch over you. Nolan approaches, satisfaction evident in his composed smile. 29 years of evidence have finally yielded results. The foundation director returns to the microphone, attempting to regain order. Mrs. Beaumont, would you like to address our guests? I step forward, feeling lighter than I have in a long time. The restraining order not only shields me from them but liberates me from the looming threat of their return that has haunted me since Agatha's passing. Tonight signifies more than just a continuation of Agatha's legacy, but a significant expansion. I am pleased to announce that the Agatha Beaumont Fellowship for Young Mothers will double its capacity next year. The applause swells, even louder than previously. Everyone deserves a second chance, I continue, drawing from the depths of my being. Everyone should have the opportunity to become who they were truly meant to be. As I survey the multitude of faces, supporters rather than judges, I finally grasp what Agatha sought to impart to me all those years ago. She didn't just provide shelter, she endowed me with the blueprint for erecting my fortress, brick by brick, relationship by relationship. The Greys could never dismantle it, as they failed to comprehend what made it unyielding. It wasn't wealth or status, but rather the unshakable bedrock of chosen family. Behind me, the screen shows the Foundation's new expansion plans, 18 rooms for young mothers and their children, on-site childcare, educational opportunities, a legacy forged from the ashes of neglect to fresh beginnings. I raise a glass, 500 voices resound to new beginnings. The name they tried to erase holds no weight anymore. The name I have embraced, the life I have constructed remains steadfast. 6 months post-gala, I stand at my office window, gazing out over Seattle's skyline. The morning sun reflects off the brass plaque beside my door, reading Arabella Beaumont, CEO. There's no hesitation as I read it now. No haunting echo of Caitlin lingers in my mind. The Seattle Times business section lies open on my desk, reporting that Gray & Fox Holdings continues its decline with a 28% drop since the Beaumont Foundation Gala. I don't feel the vengeful joy I once anticipated. Instead, I feel a tranquil certainty sweep over me. Justice doesn't always come with thunderous proclamations. Sometimes, it reveals itself gradually through quarterly reports and SEC investigations. My phone vibrates with a text from Everest, Associate Chief Resident announcement just posted. Dinner tonight to celebrate? I reply with a smile, saying, absolutely. Let's bring that Cabernet we've been keeping. The changes I've experienced in recent months sometimes surprise me. I now sleep through the night without waking up at 3 a.m., no longer anxious about unexpected visits from Martin and Jocelyn. Making decisions has become less burdensome, free from the second-guessing that used to haunt me. The board has approved our expansion initiative for Blue Finch Bakery, and we will break ground on our 4th location next month. Nolan knocks once before entering, carrying legal folders under his arm. Since he accepted the role of the Foundation's permanent legal advisor, he's swapped his formal attire for smart casual clothing, a change that signifies our strengthened trust. He informs me that the investigation into Tyler Quinn's bankruptcy fraud is well underway, taking a seat across from me. The prosecutor has uncovered a contract that guarantees him an 8% success fee for facilitating your reunion. This is being considered as proof of a financial conspiracy. As for my parents, the term doesn't sting my throat anymore. I maintain a calculated distance. The restraining order guarantees they cannot approach you, Everest, or any Foundation property. I recall the gasps from the gala audience when security escorted them out. That night, the community took sides, resulting in a 60% increase in donations to the Foundation in the weeks that followed. I nearly lost everything Agatha had created for us, I mention, touching the watch on my wrist. But you didn't, Nolan counters, reminding me you safeguarded it, just as she safeguarded you. The morning staff meeting flows smoother than I ever imagined 6 months ago. I even laugh when our marketing director suggests Blue Finch cookies as holiday gifts. The tension that once lived between my shoulders is gone, replaced by calm confidence. I announce that the Beaumont house renovations are complete, all 18 rooms ready. Our first 6 young mothers move in next month. This extension of Agatha's vision, to give single mothers housing while they study or train, feels right. After the meeting, I attend the hospital board lunch at Seattle General. The place where Martin and Jocelyn once ambushed me now feels warm. Nurses greet me by name, always Arabella. The chief of surgery smiles. Your son's residents idolize him. His cardiac technique is being taught in 3 other hospitals. I say he got his dedication from his grandmother. Later, I walk through downtown, past the park bench where I once slept at 17, pregnant and alone. The memory no longer hurts, it's just part of who I was. Then I see her, a young woman on that same bench, a baby in her arms, tears on her cheeks. I sit beside her. Are you okay? She startles. I'm fine. I recognize that defensive tone. I was once in your place, I tell her. 17, pregnant, nowhere to go. She looks up, wary but hopeful. Everyone deserves a second chance, I continue. The Agatha Beaumont Foundation offers housing with childcare while you finish school or training. I don't have money for rent, she whispers. The foundation covers it, I say, handing her my card. 3 families live there now, and 15 scholarships open every year. She reads my name, Arabella Beaumont, CEO. Why help me? You don't know me. I smile. Because 29 years ago, someone helped me right here. She told me I didn't have to let my name define my future. That night, Everest, Nolan, and I share dinner at Agatha's table. Candlelight glows. Nolan toasts to Associate Chief Resident. And to Blue Finch Bakery's expansion, Everest adds. To family, I say, the one we build and the one we keep. Later, alone in Agatha's study, I trace her books, moonlight falling on a photo of 17-year-old me holding newborn Everest, Agatha's arm around us. When I changed my name, I whisper, I claimed who I was meant to be. The city lights shimmer outside. On my desk lie the new scholarship applications, 15 young women ready to rewrite their futures. I'll read them tomorrow. For now, I stand in the quiet, knowing Caitlin Gray and Arabella Beaumont both live in me, but neither defines me. My choices do. And after all these years, that's finally enough.